Hey, what's up? Indy Mann here. Today I'm going to tell you about mistakes to avoid when buying a property. Property buying can be very exciting, very thrilling, but yet it can be very daunting experience. And if you don't know what you're doing, then you can fall in a big trap and lose all or most of your money really quickly. So in this video I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you the ways, I'll tell you the common mistakes what people make and how you can actually avoid those mistakes and thrive in property world and make a successful property purchase. So let's start with the number one. Okay, number one, not researching the market properly. One of the biggest mistakes the buyers can make is not to research the trends in the property in the local real estate. So for example, before buying a property, you got to make sure that you check the market properly. Like, look behind me, there's a property for sale here. So you need to check the market trends, you need to check the market values in the local area, you need to check what amenities are close by. It all needs to be checked. You need to check comparables in the area by looking at the square footage of your property, that exactly what your property is worth right now, what need of work needs doing to it. So market research is very important, and that's the number one point on my list, on my tips list. Check the market properly, do your research before you purchase the property, so in the long run you don't lose out on any money or any assets what you invest into the property. That takes us to number two.
So number two is if you're not inspecting the property properly before you purchasing the property. So if you don't inspect the property properly, then that will cause a lot of issues later on during your refurb, whether you're going to live in the property or it's an investment. Basically, if you inspect the property before you purchase it, you can spot any structural issues, you can spot any damp infestations, you could spot any serious plumbing issues with the property, which in the long run which help you and save some of the costly repairs. So my advice, number two, always inspect the property before you buy it. Okay, so number three is that neglecting the set budget. What does that mean? That means basically that before you buy a property, you need to have a set budget, exactly how much is going to cost you to purchase the property, how much is going to cost you to refurb the property, whether you're living in it, like I said again, whether you're selling it or whether you're going to refinance that property. You need to have a set budget. Without a clear budget, buyers can easily overspend. Basically, it's very crucial to determine how much you can afford to spend on a property, personal property or investment property. So it's very important to think that there's certain things which you need to remember, things like deposits, things like completion costs and ongoing expenses of the property too. Okay, so setting the budget, it can basically, if you set a budget, the way your budget is, how much you can buy the property for, you can actually narrow down your search as well. You can narrow your search down for what kind of property you can afford, what kind of property you exactly want to buy. So it will save you a lot of time in the long run as well. You will not go out viewing the properties which are actually out of your budget, out of your range basically. So very important step. Okay, next step, number four, is failing to get pre-approval for a mortgage. So before you go to purchase a property, it's very important that you go and speak to a mortgage broker and go and get pre-approved for a mortgage for any certain property. Okay, by having a mortgage in principle, basically you're telling the buyer or the buyer's agent that you're a serious buyer and you can actually afford the property as well. In the long run, if you don't do that, in the long run you're going to miss out on buying your dream property or your dream investment. So very important, keep that in mind, that you always speak to a mortgage broker and have a pre-approval for the mortgage. Number five, remember these tips are really valuable. I'm giving you these tips free of charge, free of cost. Not many people here in Birmingham, West Midlands, UK will tell you these tips for free. If you do like the video, watch it till the end. And before we move forward to next 3 or 4 steps, I want to tell you something about my mentoring program, which I have for my pupils, for my inner circle people. It's basically a 12 months mentoring program where first month I'll teach you, we study in the classroom. My offices are based in Smethwick, by the way, in Birmingham. And then the next 11 months I will hold your hand. I'll take you through your property journey. We'll help you find a right property. We'll show you how we source our properties, how you can sit down and source a property for yourself, and how we can add value to the property, what the property is going to be good for. Depending on, we'll sit down and work your strategy, what you want, whether you want to flip a property, whether you want to hold it for long term, for steady rental income, and plus growth in the future as well. We'll sit down with you, work your strategy, and help you all the way along, including the purchase of the sourcing of the property, the purchase of the property, refurb, whether there's any need to be done. Then at the end, whether we're going to finance the exit strategy, whatever it is. So we'll help you on all those steps, and we'll also help you to get the bridge finance or the normal mortgage as well. So if you're interested, I will leave the link below and to my website. All you need to do is click on that link, go on my website, click the pages on the left hand side, which will open the menu for a home page. Contact us page you'll see there as well. Go to that page and leave your details and leave a brief description of exactly what you want to do, and whether you want a mentoring program, whether you just want to attend a networking program first, see what it's all about, or whether you want to do a joint venture with me. So all those things we can help you with, and make sure you visit my website to check out some of the blog there as well. Okay, so let's move on to number 5 now. Number 5 is a very big one. You got to think of your exit strategy. Okay, so the mistake potential people can make is not considering the resale value. So before you buy the property, you got to think about the end. What do you want to do with the property at the end? Do you want to live in it, or do you want to live in it, or do you want to just basically do it up, flip it, or going to put some tenants in there? But anything you want to do with the property, you need to work out consider the resale value of the property. Okay, so factors like locations, neighborhood, and property condition, they will all impact the future value of the property. Whether there's a new developments going on, whether there's a new improvement, government schemes in the local area where you buy your property, all that will have a major impact on your resale of your property. All right, so working out the property's value, and if it's got a good resale value at the end, it can safeguard your investment in the long run as well. So remember, you need to work out the resale value, the GDV of the property, whatever you're buying, so you don't lose out in the future. Ready for number 6? Ignoring the hidden costs. When buying a property, buyers sometimes think that the listing price is the only price which is involved in buying a property, but there's not. There's other costs involved. There's costs like maintenance costs, there's costs like stamp duty, taxes, there's costs like insurance premiums. So you need to think of all these costs before you actually going to buy the property, because if these costs are not factored in before purchasing the property, then during the purchase or after the purchase of the property, is going to lead to extra financial strains on a buyer. And then it could even mean that you're losing the property. You can't buy the property at the end because you didn't factor these costs in. Imagine buying the property for let's say £150,000. Roughly, top of my head, the stamp duty is going to be around £4,500. Yes, the bank's gonna give you money to purchase it. So imagine it's your investment property and you gotta put 25% deposit, and the bank's gonna give you 75%. So 25% is £37,500, and that is not the only cost. That's not just that you don't just need 37,500 to buy the property. You need to factor £4,500 stamp duty into it. You need to factor that you need to get buildings insurance for that property. You need to factor your solicitor's fee. You need to factor in, if not all, you have to pay at least half or something towards your solicitor fee up front. You need to factor your broker's fee. So all these fees can add up, and then a property which was listed as £150,000, all of a sudden that property has cost you near enough £160,000. So that's extra £10,000 you gotta fork out from your pocket, to acquire the property. So don't ever ignore the cost, the actual extra cost of buying a property. So number seven is rushing the decision. That's the worst mistake you can make when you're buying a property, because buying a property is a big, massive financial commitment, okay? And it's essential that you don't rush this decision. Take your time to research the properties in the area. Go and do lots of viewings. Go and view lots of properties. Not that first property you see that say I want to buy this property. Don't rush the decision. Weigh your options very carefully. Rushing can lead to overlooking the red flags, and it could even you can lose a lot of money in the long run. So don't ever rush in making a decision to buy a property. Always seek advice from a professional if you have to, if you don't know what you're doing. But if you do know what you're doing, then take your time before you make any decisions to buy the property. And that brings me to number 8, overlooking the neighborhood, or in other words, ignoring the neighborhood, what the neighborhood is like. Make sure you do your research of the neighborhood where you're buying the property, because that will hugely impact the price of your house later on down the line, and it will hugely impact the sort of condition, or it will impact your quality, not condition, the quality of your life. Because if the neighborhood is bad, the quality of your life is going to be bad as well, and that is going to actually take the value of your property down rather than taking it up. So always look for things like amenities close by, the crime in the property, the crime in the area where you're thinking to buy. Any future developments, like I said earlier on, can hugely impact the property's value as well. So don't make a mistake of overlooking the neighborhood. Make sure you always check out the neighborhood before you actually purchase any property. Ready for the last one? Right, the last one, this is a trap, okay? This is where you fall into the trap. Falling in love with the property you want to buy. Falling in love with the property, it's very natural that you get emotionally attached with the property you go to view if it's a really nice property, especially if you're buying the property for yourself to live in. And sometimes investors make that mistake as well. They get so emotionally attached with the area, with the property, the due diligence goes out the window, okay? And when you do get emotionally attached, it's your judgment gets cloudy. You're not able to make the right decision, all right? And you gotta have a really level head when you approach, because like I said earlier, it's a big financial commitment. Whether you're buying cash, whether you're buying on a mortgage, a bridge, it doesn't matter what you're buying on. It's a massive commitment buying a property, all right? So make sure that you keep a cool head and do all your due diligence. Check the things like prices in the area, the location, the condition, resale potential of your property at the end is got to be there as well. And do all this due diligence, and that's the only way you're gonna make the right decision. Don't fall in love with any property. First look at first sight is not good in property. So conclusion, By discussing these common mistakes what people can make, I've made in the past myself, so I'm not going to lie to you. By discussing these common mistakes and following my tips on what to avoid, hopefully you guys will make an informed decision to purchase your next property, whether you're going to live in it or if it's an investment. And this video, I hope it will bring a lot of value to your property journey as well. And until next time, keep working hard and watch this space for more videos. And if you do like my videos, let me know now and again. Click that, smash the thumb, smash the like button. God bless you all. Keep working hard. Till the next time, God bless.